Hey traders, good to see y'all. It's been about a day since we last talked, and things weren't looking too hot at all on the new week, where Bitcoin was down like almost 3% in the first 2 hours. But then something happened though, right? What was that? It pivoted this morning. And what did we say yesterday? We got to pray for the index funds. Good news is the index funds are overcooked, so you could be catching a relief rally this week. And today was a big part of the beginning of that, right? Like some follow through off that strength shown on Friday that has helped Bitcoin, which is again pretty much just a glorified tech stock right now until things change. It was able to put in somehow a higher low than the previous low than the previous low. So now you're just talking about local potential structural pattern development or whatever, where it seems so somber. Look, dude, when you're in between major levels where all you've done normally historically is straight up, straight down, it's tougher to gauge things. It's not as right. I mean, it's logical arguments made on why maybe Bitcoin could hold here and rally, because prevailing impulses before were up sloping. We had old resistance that needed to be tested as support. All right, it's easier to gauge maybe what could be coming next, even though we certainly still don't know. All right, you're at levels of support. When you reject this level and you hold, you fall below it, but you reject prices lower than the support, you got a good idea after rejection like that where you could be headed. But when you're in the dead middle, man, it's tough. And anyone saying that they know for certainty, when you're not at inflection points, which are kind of your strategic areas, it's really coin flippish and tough. So forecasting, yeah, can be kind of maybe a joke around in the middle of these ranges. But either way, just trying to identify the stuff that comes at us every day. Things are just still developing. It's really cool to see how the bearish divergence massively underperformed, and you're already positive again on momentum. That's good. Your RSI is making its highest level since the 20th. So we're talking about 11 days, highest RSI in the 4 hour. You're about to be cracking 60. You're 59.8 right now. You got to get in the bullish control zone. You know why, right? Though, 60 has been achieved a couple times this year. As soon as you hit it and you go to 62, 63, completely getting back below 60. I mean, we haven't even been overbought once this year on the 4 hour RSI. Not once. So it's just eventually that'll happen again. And why not maybe it happening when this all kind of develops after hitting an 88% retrace in the previous low to the all-time high. It's, not out of the realm possibility at all, okay? So another really good thing I tweeted about was the hopium became copium, and then it became hopium again, where, yeah, you broke that RSI downtrend. Not as significant as the one we saw in September because it was much larger, much longer time. This was from January all the way to July, this is just half that or less than half that, really. So, yeah, you break RSI downtrends on the daily, going from overbought to eventually going oversold. And, yeah, we'll see what happens, right? That's all I can tell you is see what happens. Just reporting it.
Hey Mitch, could you check out Grimace coin? Thank you.
Bruh. Is that unironic? Because people were asking about it this past couple of days and we were all joking about it. Dude, I don't know. You want me to really look at this PooCoin stuff? There's no point, dude. It's going to rug pull. It's going to scam like all the others on PooCoin. But yeah, we'll put on the now. I think we've seen it before, right? It's on the wrapped ether pair on TradingView. We'll look at it, dude. I'll guarantee you that a look, but me trying. I'll do everything I can, man. I'll use all my powers, all my skills to look at your Grimace S coin. Sure, but with Bitcoin, those are kind of your developments. A 4 hour local potential high or low, RSI at its highest level and getting on a couple weeks, getting near 60 again, and the daily RSI downtrend breakout, re-breakout, because it was like fell back in and now it's back out because we had just a little bit of price action, only just a little bit. So those are the big things, the big takeaways. We can go to Ethereum. Pretty interesting. I mean, you're on the daily, soon to be testing 40 again. Maybe this time we can get above 40 and stay above it. Maybe run towards neutral, but it's going to require Bitcoin to do that. 4 hours really nice. I mean, where it looks pretty on Bitcoin, it looks really good on Ethereum. This third higher low, right? Seen it before. Inverse head and shoulders turn into 3 rising valleys at 786s, 886s. I mean, just like, you know, you could definitely look at this like it's just upsloping consolidation after a markdown, and that's still very valid and accurate to state that. But again, if we were maybe at like from our previous, you know, July, June lows, if we were up here painting it, I'd feel less confident because we know about Fibonacci context, and like 786s, 886s are just where the downside becomes far more limited than when you're, you know, just beginning the markdown or you're just in the dead middle of the markdown. You know, we know just historically major reversals or pivots can occur at 786s and 886s. Bitcoin hit its 886 and Ethereum hit its 786. So it's just like, you know, if you're showing classic accumulation now, like just like you were just showing classic distribution, things have turned around maybe. And good news on, you know, I mean, Ethereum on the 4 hour, the RSI is over 60 now. I mean, you're at the highest RSI you've seen since the 13th, and not once this year has Ethereum been overbought on the 4 hour. Not once. So it's always good to get back in the bullish control zone, especially after showing a third higher low, right? Momo shifted, and now accumulation arguments there, even though you're still in between two major levels, 2K and 3K. All right, man, it's tougher. And you're at that heart line. You're trying to breach that heart line. But you did just have your highest 4 hour candle close since January 21st. So it's been 10 days. It's not bad. A lot of work to be done. But just as it was rolling over yesterday, looking like it was making a second high, confirmation high, it ended up pivoting. And something I noticed last night, I was just looking. Look at this on the 2 hour. You don't ever have to get the 2 hour. I'm just saying, look at this unreal looking hammer. I mean, just for the sake of, we like Japanese candlesticks. We like charts here, right? We like reversals that play out. And just, you know, for your eyes to see, that was pretty awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool. And where was it? I think it was also, there was like a demand line where it was manufactured. Look at that. I mean, like, you know, it's pretty perfect. 1 and 2 touches, and then your third touch, and then you get the hammer, the textbook hammer right there with no wick. That's solid stuff. I mean, local TA being respected at least with just a couple variables, not like crazy or big deal or anything like that, you know, not significant. I'm just, again, say you put this on the daily on another chart someday. That could be the same type of situation. This shows it on daily on gold or Apple or something. Dang, you take from this. Okay, cool. But in the end, it's just like 1, 2, 3, third time. And in actuality, I mean, like, if you go from this value, well, the 2 hour, it's like it was hidden bullish difference, I guess. I don't know. I don't really ever look at the 2 hour. Just it happened, Larry. Still not too bad of a candle on the 4 hour either. That kind of spiked my interest. I'm like, what happened on the less significant time scales if it looks like that? I don't know. Just so what will happen, chat? Will this classic accumulation in a downtrend in the middle of a zone, will it happen? Will it play out? Will this take us to at least 3,000 to test the old levels that were once resistance as resistance again before utterly failing and dumping down to 2K? Or is this going to take us all the way to the top of the beautiful, like one of the most beautiful downtrends in all of crypto, just based on the touches on the bottom and top trend lines? You think this will take us to the supply line again, like you had seen November 30th, December 27th, you know, pretty much the 4th of January. Will we see it again? We could. Remember, you've had the deep, pretty much full reset. I mean, 786 isn't the best, but we know Bitcoin, the macro, did get a full reset in 886. So this is like outperformed by like 1 fib node. The price action is supposed to be confusing here. It's not at like strategic areas. Like, you know, I mean, it just wasn't. It just, again, you talk about over here, reciprocal ABCD, and you were already in like, you had already established a reversal. That's always nice. You established a reversal, you went on a nice run, and then you began a pullback, and at a pattern completion zone, you bottomed out 3 different times, accumulation. But then that candle on September 30th, that was kind of the signal, hey, this level might be holding here. This could be it. This could be the bottom. The bottom could be in, and it was a trade setup. You know, back when long trade setups were actionable and you could actually make money because the price velocity would go high enough to where it would hit the targets. You know, you can't in these conditions for, we're talking two and a half months, going on 3 months now, long trade setups for swing trades, right, are just not equitable. They don't play out. You can't make them play out. They will never hit your targets that are equitable for a 3-to-1 reward to risk. So I get it, you know, like that's gonna happen in downtrends. So all I can do is like be live and be reporting to you. Well, I mean, classic distribution. Oh God, distribution. That's bearish price action. A bunch, you know. That's longs won't succeed. But maybe now, you know, and it's the same situation, right? It's like, oh, well, will this play out? I don't know. It could fail again miserably. Okay, whatever. For the people actually watching this stream, I guess we'll just move on. Just go to total, forget the sound clip, doesn't matter. It's still below that resistance, whatever, you know. There was resistance in February, support, you're below it still, but it looks like you're re-attempting to test it in the heart line of the channel. Okay, maybe, hey, if the potential like little 3 rising valleys plays out, you'll break this. You'll go at least go to 1.78. If you ever did that, you could be going all the way to the supply line again, way up at like 2 trillion. See what happens. You know, BNB, my God, man. Remember, this was the specimen. This was the one we kind of like was the whipping boy, where, you know, you're actually down today, 0.616%, right? I mean, it still looks terrible. It still looks like, I get where you are. You are at an inflection point where massive reversals occurred before. Trade set up here. Massive reversals of downside too occurred here. But, and we know you're at an 886 from that previous low from September to the all-time high. Or not, almost all-time high. We know that it's limited downside areas kind of based on that and how much it's drawn down, but at the same time, it is terrible. Like, it's so ugly. Like, it's such an ugly, like, or if you flipped it and you were like in a massive uptrend, I mean, like, and then you just started bottoming out and started failing to see the downsloping support of the flag, that would be like strength. That's like, dang man, you're failing to get down to the established demand line. And now you're just rallying back up, testing the supply line, selling off a little bit because of the macro, but barely. And now just working on maybe some sort of 4-hour bearish and bullish engulfing candle in this context. All right, but it's not. It's opposite day. This is, you know what I'm talking about. It's not pretty at all. Even if it is limited on its downside, I don't like staring at textbook bear pull, bear flags in downtrends. That's just ugly. Whatever. You can say whatever you want, but it doesn't look really pretty. It still doesn't. Okay. Cardano, I mean, like, it's up 1.35%, but is it really doing anything? No. It's making like the same lows as before, and certainly lower highs, and underperforming, and it's still in the zone, man. I just don't. Like, I really do hope it holds here and rallies to 145, 148 again, you know, and then history stays the same. But remember, the vertical line tool, things have changed since September. when the buying climax occurred. They're not the same now. So yeah, people could, if they really wanted to, they could place their bets. They could have an entry around here. They can have stop losses somewhere marginally below $1 somewhere, you know, a lot of different spots. And then targets 145 if they were really confident in Cardano reversing here. Yeah, that is, you'd probably be practicing at these levels. You're practicing proper risk management, right? And reward to risk 3-to-1 be easy here, but at the same time, you're doing that after market participants confirmed a rejection of prices above 150, and the trend is prevailing. That's like confirming the trend is still intact too, and you did just make a lower low than even your lowest low before it, January 10th. So again, it's like one could take a chance, but context is important. Yeah, we got a monthly candle close in store for us in 37 minutes, 50 seconds. I guess I'll do everything I can to stick around, man. Do all I can. What's up, Juan?
Can you take a look at Lucid? Thanks, M.
Yeah, we'll look at Lucid. Have I ever looked at that before in my life? Maybe we'll do that. Okay, so that's your Cardano, one of your largest cryptos ever. And then you got Sol. It actually is up today. Hey, nice. Hey, it's an inverse head and shoulders, man. It's holding. It's holding. It's like, you know, 1, 2, 3. 3 local, lows here. And there wasn't much bearish. There was hidden bearish evidence in it. Underperformed. So you could always see this. Like, this is, I would say you got a neckline going on. I think that neckline's gonna be, what do you do? Do you omit that one? I'd say you still got like a neckline around 103, 104. But yeah, it's trying to show accumulation. This is just a consolidation structure, chat, where there's gonna be a probability on both sides of where this is going next. So in downtrends, there have been many little ascending triangles that have gone bearish, that have acted as consolidation for another markdown. So I wouldn't get your hopes up too much. Though it could certainly run up to 120 to 130 to test those old levels as resistance, because you never did. Market participants love that. It will be, it's just going to be substantially lower high than previous highs. The downtrend will continue. It'll rally up, hit them, lower highs, and then dump again, and eventually see that $50 to $60 area. But yeah, that's kind of in development right now on Sol, SOL. Not dead yet, man. It's kind of been wrecked so hard. Remember that time it saw $259, and now it's at $100, less than $100 technically right now. So Mana was up 11%, or is up 11% right now. It's back in this chop zone, so I don't think you're clear yet, but you did break some sort of supply line, really well established supply line. That's nice. But just remember, you're gonna have to recapture like highs of like 320, 340, and big time like 394. And then after you do that, you're then going to have to sell off and make a higher low than the previous low before it. And then once you pivot, making that higher low, and you start rallying again, you could be saying that the trend's reversing. But yeah, you did break a supply line of some sort. It was pretty cool that you even back tested it yesterday as support before rallying a little bit more today. Overbought now, but no bearish divergence or anything. But you were thinking full reset would take this thing way down to at least test 150, but even could be $1 eventually. You're just looking at that one. And then Luna was crazy. I can't even, it was a bullish Bartley-Gartley, right? Where you had all that divergence. Man, it went down one more time and actually touched the 886 perfectly. The 886 was confluent with what? The old September 10th high? The zone of chop? and you caught a reaction. It's up 11%, but that's not good enough. I mean, that was some really nice divergence, dude, for real. I think you even had it maybe on the daily too. But we eventually get a type 2 return, and man, it'd be nice to see Bitcoin actually do something positive and to show and signal that the trend's reversing for these altcoins, because it just makes it tougher, man. What's up, Crypto Plumber Man?
Crypto Plumber tip $25. Hey Mitch, can you take a look at NNDM 0.228600000 LTC?
Interesting. I was talking to one of my friends I went out with on Friday night, and he brought up NNDM. I know it lost like 88% of its value, but that's it. It hadn't made a confirmation low. It's not, I don't even remember if it's diverging. We'll look at it. We'll put on the list. Thanks, man. Appreciate that crypto contribution. It may appreciate or depreciate in value in the coming whatevers. Yep. So just some notable gainers, man. Rarible, SNX, KNC, Uni. I mean, a lot of them are up today. It's gonna happen, man. Just like tomorrow when the new day begins and a new month begins, about 30 minutes, there's gonna be a change in price action. Let's go to that monthly on Bitcoin, since it is the eve of the dawn of the new candle. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, that's 3 months, man. We're now at the 3-month period of just pain and suffering, devastation. First level of negative momentum about to be confirmed since June of 2020. Below 60 now. All right, sitting at our lowest RSI on the monthly since the COVID crash, or just the recovery, April of 2020. And never really pretty when you confirm a top, right? Never really pretty. That's like, yes, confirmation the top is in. And then follow the price action. I mean, you're not dead really till you really break like 29K on the monthly, because that's the neckline of the potential double top in development. You just look at it in log scale, it's not near as bad, but you could understand, right, if it did break 30K, you know, it'd probably take you down to like 14K. But you're there. You think 3 months in a row of straight selling, you might get a month of actual relief and all that, whatever. Especially the index funds don't roll over. Maybe not if they are dead cat bouncing right now. All right, let's shift gears. S&P 500, good day today, real good today, right? Like, oh my god, right? Like over 4,500 to close, up almost 2%, 1.89%, heading towards that 45 high from September 2nd. Remember, you can go test that. Remember where we are, very close to 50% retrace too, high to low, 50%. You're almost there, man. It can go higher too. It's gonna take a lot of work, man. You know, you'll probably see end up happening, recover 618, you'll start selling off, dumping again, volatility accelerating, and you're really going to want to see a higher low get put in here, and then one of those potential dragons. I mean, this is like if you want a continuation, you know, and not a collapse and a recession and a bear market. You know, you're going to have to put in an argument as to why the trend's not bearishly reversing. You know, like, because if it's dead cat bounce or something, if things are far worse than we can think right now. Sorry. You think like it could dead cat bounce and then it just starts rolling over again like that. That would be the worst case scenario, and that would. So we need some stuff, some data, but we knew, right? At these areas being so oversold, yeah, a relief rally could be reflexive rally could be in store for us. It's happening. It began today, or began on Friday and got follow through today. Got back above the 200-day simple moving average. Super important Oh my God, that is such a big deal. So glad it happened.
Darren tipped $25.60. Can you please check out Theta? Thanks, legend.
Darren, thanks, dude.
0.2340000 LTC.
Yeah, we'll look at Theta. Much appreciated, dude. Well, look, it was sitting at a support. Like, I guess it's next support. So great on the S&P. Dow Jones was way better. Remember, as we talked about on Friday with this one. Remember what happened? How did it close? Like bullish engulfing above the demand line of the ascending broadening wedge. And that bullish divergence, man. In oversold territory. It's a pretty solid combo. And now you got an actual close. Daily candle close above that May 10th of 2021 high. Really strong. I mean, really strong. And this could V-shape. I mean, just look at the oscillators where you're at. I mean, the MACD is still negative, but waning violently. There's a lot of upside potential if market participants want to. Defensive stocks, this might be the market. I mean, there's like a violent rotation from tech and growth to, you know, commodities and defensive stocks. So, you know, it did underperform today technically, but it actually outperformed too because it didn't lose as much value, held supports better in the S&P and NASDAQ. So, but it didn't have as many gains today as the S&P, which was up almost 2%. This is up 1.17%. So it's kind of like more or less volatile than the S&P. And then you go to the NASDAQ, which, you know, another great candle. I mean, this is seriously major, at least now. Like, it's not about the break out or break back above. It is about the fall through we get. So tomorrow you could just as easily reject it on a fake out. But this is the area we've been telling you, pay attention to. 14,176, you're above it. You closed above it. Very, very good. Very, very good. There wasn't an edge at all. There was no edge saying, oh, sellers are exhausted on daily. No, so that means like you're probably going for like a 50% retrace. Probably gonna, maybe very well could go test that 200-day simple moving average. A lot of work to do, clearly, right? As the S&P 500 broke back above its daily 200 moving average today, look how far away you are from the 200 here. So you have to understand what's going on. So like maybe it just reminds me of like inverse of the COVID crash, where the Qs and the NASDAQ were losing less value on the way down than the S&P and the Dow Jones. They were getting devastated, but the Qs and the NASDAQ held much stronger, lost less value, and then when the bounce occurred, when you finally bottomed out, that COVID crash low, the nadir, what outperformed? The asset classes that lost less value and outperformed on the way down. So we got something different. It's not like that now. It's the inverse. It's like you now have the dump and you have the Dow Jones and S&P majorly outperforming the NASDAQ and the Qs. Something to take note of, especially you're talking about like asset allocation. It's probably a better idea to have assets in the outperforming asset class or assets versus the underperformers. Shift in the meta, shift in the sentiment and everything. It's, you know, you get what I'm saying? So, but it's great news though. If you can stay above 14,176, that's a big deal. A lot more work to do. Up 3.41% too, and still massively underperforming the S&P and Dow Jones compared to, like, we're just talking about the high to the low and the 200 moving average and stuff, right? So no, Russell 2000, 200%. The nice reciprocal ABCD with a 50% on C, 200 on D. Dang, man, you don't know. All we did was I have it here, and that was so real. I mean, it really was diverging, severe bullish divergence there, and it just happened. I mean, it wasn't really much of a support. It was there, 1929, nice year, nice price, 926, whatever. Technically on the MACD too, so I think you're headed towards 2070, 2085 for your first like real back test. No idea if you're gonna break that or not. You could, but at the same time you could rally, test it, fail, come back for a type 2 return off the reciprocal ABCD. If you get like a double bottom at like 1920 or whatever, That could be interesting. It could be amazing. But yeah, it's just your first, test of this, and kind of the variables were there for a reflexive rally of some sort. You're starting to get it, just like the S&P, Dow Jones, NASDAQ. Yeah, they were at critical levels, and they were severely oversold. So when you're at a critical level of support after being severely sold and you've drawn down really fast, it is very reasonable to believe that some sort of reaction could occur at that critical area you're testing. Yes. Doesn't mean, though, it's showing all the variables we want for a more massive, real reversal to the upside, right? We always want to wait for confirmation on that and the continuation of divergence or even sometimes convergence. And maybe sometimes a Bulkowski pattern at these levels, right? Okay, so that's kind of your index funds, and then we can shift gears again to like gold. That didn't do much today at all. It's still hanging in there, trying to do like the same thing it's freaking doing, right? Oh, double bottoming, trying to double bottoming again, right? It's just constant. You had that bearish divergence, the bearish engulfing candle, some follow through. It wasn't really that great, and I think probably until you fall maybe below like 1764, you're going to be showing accumulation argument still. And still try to look at Pax G here because there's just so much noise and chop on the spot price. It's like, to me, it's like it's okay. I mean, you know what it's trying to do now on Pax G on the daily? Convergence into what now? If this holds, chat, if this holds, you'll be showing class B hidden bullish divergence on both oscillators. Again, if this pivot catches any kind of follow through, you hold above the 200-day simple moving average, you hold support, very real here. You go back, I'm not making this up, November 30th, traders settled up at that 1796 level. Well, for the second time now, you're attempting a test, right? You're attempting to hold it. So if you're you're trying to tell me sellers are somewhat exhausted on the second test, it's really not bad. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like, let's see. This is the closer you are to these levels, the easier it is to potentially take action for a long. So, chat, what do you think? You think gold is gonna respect the TA here? Confirm this bottom, catch follow through, and the TA. If the TA is respected, we rally next, probably to go test 1860 to 1876. Yeah.
Sup, Mitch?
So, Victor, man. Good to see you, dude. During these trying, troubling times. Okay, this is, get the argument maybe why it could still hold here, and it very well might be setting up for a reversal at this near $1,800 area. Yeah, silver was a massive disappointment on Friday. Still massive disappointment. Like, I really am just starting to feel a little weird looking at significant time scales on this one. Now, it's not over yet. Probably going to require gold to do stuff, but you got to make a higher low here. Give me a higher low. Pivot and start rallying now. You didn't do anything yesterday. So the whole argument, bullish arguments of getting close to being put into jeopardy. You start falling below that previous low, all of a sudden it's like, well, the accumulation argument's not really there. So I just worry about kind of like the weekly, more that weekly bearish engulfing candle, another just lower high in the previous highs. That just doesn't sit well with me. Even though, like, good, you know what, that's the sickening part about it, where look how insanely good the classic, pretty much class B bullish divergence was, and this is all you could summon. That very weak, very underperforming bullish variables, and that's not a good sign. And if it really did fail, you could definitely understand what's happening, what's gonna happen. You will see an 88% retrace eventually. So it's just like, if you don't hold like this range bottom that you built for over a year, going on a year and a half. You understand how bad it's going to be, right? You're going to $20. Yeah, $20, man. Take that all the way back to the weekly candle high close from 2008, March 2008. I mean, minimum that. And then, you know, below, deep retraces are way, way lower, man. So, yeah, pray for some bids this week, man, because you don't want follow-through price action after a weekly bearish engulfing candle. You just don't. Monthly has already started, and it was technically a bearish engulfing candle. You know, not a very big candle, but I mean, if you started pivoting, someone's like, hidden bullish divergence, like, only if it started pivoting, and it could take a quarter for it to start maturing and developing, dude. 3 candles, 3 months, dude. It's been tough, man. It's been real tough. Silver has been massively suppressed. Okay. Guess what did well today? Natural gas, baby. Natural gas up 5%. Made that higher low. Where's all my... I think I have... I think it's another chart, yeah. And natural gas, right? The spring back test of spring right here, and the higher low, that accumulation. Oh, love it, man. In an uptrend. Yeah, that was a big deal. That was something we've been monitoring last week. And you're catching follow through off of it, and this could take you much higher. You could see $6 again. At least $5.50, a deep retrace. Very, very strong. U.S. oil. What did it do? It just happened to paint a technical bullish engulfing candle above critical resistance from 2008. Nah, 2010, excuse me, that peak. Yeah, you closed above it again. You're continuing to rally. I mean, your upside seems rather limited, right? Because just the wave up has been so amazing. Waves, even if they're amazing, they eventually pull back. You know, 38% retraces, 50% retrace before they go again. So yeah, long extended wave, bullish dragon breakout. Still technically kind of diverging. You're overbought again. You hadn't seen negative momentum on the daily since December 9th last year. So yeah, it could keep meandering on up, but eventually, you know, you get some sort of pullback here. What else did well today? Cotton futures, chat. Cotton futures is the king of the world, literally. Just another fresh decade high and 3% higher than it was last week. There's no real resistance. I mean, you could say like 134. It's like 140 resistance, that peak from 2011. Moon, chat. Moon on cotton futures. Very good. Goodness gracious, man. Okay, guess we can go to the request. Alright, Grimace coin. My, what's happened to this stream, dude? Nah, it's the same joke it was whenever I looked at it 2 days ago or something that someone requested. Down 2.25% today. Thanks, Grimace. What's up, Land of Cotton, man? Thank you, dude.
Hex used daily, weekly.
Yeah, well, look at it, dude. And it's okay. I mean, remember, it's like the whole thing about Hex was like, where are the bids? Can they please come in so the TA can be respected, Richard Schuler? Or, well, and they didn't come in. Like, they didn't come in on a macro day like this. Down 4.2%, man. It's like, you can't do that, man. You got to catch the bids at the PCZ, you know, at some point. If you don't, just keep dumping it, man. It's like a bad sign when you hit PCZs and you barely do anything. Like BNB, you just start bear flagging there, like PayPal. PayPal just starts bear flagging at the pattern completion zone of a bullish, like the deep maximum threshold criteria for a bullish butterfly or crab or whatever. Bear flag dumped again. So that happens in downtrends when the conditions just aren't the same in the bull market, where everything is more reliable and can outperform. So what do you want me to do with this Grimace coin, dude? Anyone, you know, talking to you, Stan the man, you got something to say? Like, oh, you're on the wrong chart, dude. Look at this one. I don't know what to look at, right? Grimace coin. Grimace and Grimace coin. Here's another chart. Oh, dude, it's at all-time lows, and no one's trading it. What's up, Kyle Ramirez? I've been watching your streams for years, almost every day. Thought I would show some support for once. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you, Kyle, man. I really appreciate it, and enjoy your canvas print. It's awesome quality, and it'll go well on your office, and it's a good cheat sheet at the same time. So thank you, dude. Much love. Yeah, I don't really know what to do here, man. Keep investing in yourself. Keep investing in yourself, Kyle, man. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, dude, I'm waiting on someone to say something about this. Stan.
Anonymous tip $21. Hi, can you look at Nat? Thank you.
We'll look at Nat. Tankers, baby. NAT. Nordic American Tankers. There was a, you know, last time I looked at it, you know, it was at it was at the all-time low. It couldn't get much worse than that. I mean, hopefully it held, or it was at the PCZ of a crazy harmonic too, but hard to have faith in something like that in these conditions. But we'll look at it. Yeah, I don't want the guy to feel like, hey, dude, you looked at Grim, but you didn't analyze it. You can't do analysis on stuff that looks like this, dude. So just moving on, man. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me, dude. Oh, he says, what's up, Stan? I see you, dude. Just waiting for it to pump. Well, you might be waiting a while, okay? It may never pump. All right, here, I got memory of this place. Here is your unfortunate Lucid group coin that pumped Wyckoff accumulation, rallied to do what? To fulfill the destiny of two different gaps. Unreal. $53 back from February of last year, and then look at that one from another February gap, right? That's unbelievably perfect. Uncanny. And it didn't just test, it tested it twice, almost three times, failed that third time. Weak. You tested twice. Remember what Bulkowski says, about 20% of the time, gap fills can act as support or resistance. That was definitely, certainly the case on LCID Lucid Group. That has lost, it has lost about 50% of its value in 76 days. It's back below the levels it needs to desperately be above. It's a lot of negative momentum still. Correcting, right? Correction, I would feel more comfortable waiting for an 886 on something like this. But dude, it's like the composite man came and he went like a summer storm. So now we gotta wait to see how long, what's this correction gonna do? It maybe rallies and makes a lower high and dumps again, but and normally in these situations, after the composite operator has had his way with the asset, and you kind of just gotta, that's 50% retrace on B, that means you definitely gotta wait for an 886. And the 886 is somewhere strategic. It's very close to the levels of inflection on this chart. You know, the bottom of the range. That would make perfect sense, right? It's a legal and controlled and methodical pump and dump. That's kind of what the composite man will do. I mean, it's not a pump and dump because it doesn't pump and then dump immediately, but it's kind of the same. The composite man acquires his position for months, sometimes years, and then finally you start running the, you know, there's the supply issues, right? And then you start making these higher lows, and then you start breaking, and then like one day you just run out of supply and just massive breakout, pull back, and then you just rally, and fill those gaps, and that was the top. So I think it would be prudent to wait for an 88% retrace just based on B point being 50% and the C point being a lower high. That is all you need to know about a potential bullish bat. 20 bucks, 2070 anyway. You can't take action on an asset that just had a massive impulse down with no consolidation after the impulse yet. And it's a lower high than previous high. And you're below, like you're just barely below the resistance. So it's like, what if it tests it as resistance and then fails and dumps the PCZ of the bat? Yeah, better entry areas down here. This is playing the market versus getting played by the market right now, or just random, right? What's up, Mavis?
Corsair.
Yeah, look, Corsair, CRSR, thanks to its whole chart is a freaking harmonic, right? If I remember correctly. Next one. The biotech company. Yep, Nano Dimension, man. The dimension of Nano that it did the same thing, dude. It's like the same freaking thing in ways, right? Where it's like, hey, Composite Man, like I guess, acquired his position. He started working on acquiring a position maybe, in 2020 sometime after COVID crash. And then it broke that, then the higher highs, higher lows started coming in, and then it broke that major resistance. And once it broke that, it went on a parabolic run. And how did it top out? How did it end? One time, no one knows. You sell off. And then you attempt to rally, and the rally was a scrub. And look how bad it was on the oscillators on that second high. Severe bearish divergence, and then the reversal. Parabolic uptrend broke in, and then you've been correcting ever since, because the Composite Man, he got his yield. He got what he needed. So he's going to make this thing do a full reset. And guess what? Full reset from this low from September has been achieved. You are at an 886 there. But what if you use this low? You still got a ways to go. And it makes probably more sense, 250 to 280, right? You got that swing low from September 2019. Where you are right now, there is no support. Like literally where it bounced might have been that fib node, but that's not a real support. I don't see how you could take action on this yet, right? When has it ever in history actually reversed right here at like $3? It doesn't. It literally always goes to 280 for it to access support or resistance or support again, right? That's all. It's never reversed here. You see what I'm saying? This could be a big M shape that hasn't hit its PCZ from the major low to the major high. There's no confirmation low. There is some pretty freaking awesome bullish divergence on the 4 hour. Okay, dude. Yeah, RSI, the daily RSI is pretty good too. You can catch a relief rally at some point soon. But does that mean a major reversal of the whole trend, the downtrend correction is going to happen? No, it just means you'll catch something. It will reduce buying, maybe run up to $4.74, $5, test it as resistance and fail again, then dump to lower lows. No, there's not enough of an argument for an actionable long yet on NNDM yet. But you got to understand how terrible the trend is. Why would you ever want to look for a long opportunity on an asset that looks like this, chat? You just wouldn't. You wouldn't. You'd be looking for long opportunities on assets like this, because all they do is higher highs, higher lows historically over and over and over again. So if you're just making lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows over and over and over again, you think that inherently on this chart the bullish patterns are going to underperform and fail, because they always and only have failed. Okay, and do it again. All right. All right, we got Theta on the line. Theta that did, we had seen this and it looked promising. It reminded me of Cardano. It reminds me of Cardano right now, where like it actually was showing some bullish divergence at an ice line. Second test, attempted test, right? It began to rally, but then Bitcoin and the macro and even the S&P, the stock market, they all dumped, and so this thing dumped with it. Once it broke that, you're out. Once it Once it hit like, you know, a level where a stop loss probably should be, it then went on to lose at its lowest point 37% of its value in about a week. That is why stop losses are so important. That is why it's so awesome to try to have entries as close to the area of inflection as possible, so the losses are as minimal as possible, right? But yeah, if you didn't have a stop loss on Theta, you lost literally 37% of the value of the asset that you were holding in less than a week. That's crazy. All right, so it went to the next level. This line has been here. I just put this here yesterday. This has been here, man, for months. January of 2021.
Also, one
you hit it, but there's no. That's it. There's nothing else so far. I mean, it's like maybe it could rally if Bitcoin rallies on up too. Then this could make it eventually to 372 to test it for the first time. It's only been resistance, support, 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 support. It could very well become resistance again. Yes, of course. But it's just one valley. I don't know. On the first time, you don't know. You're always looking for a second low, man. You're always looking for the second low. Right, the second low, not the first. And you're trying to, you're trying to find the entry as close to the level, the potential area where it would bounce as possible. You've got kind of off of that now, right? Just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they bounce. They're up like 15 to 20+% from their lowest lows now. So it's just, that's the lowest risk area for an entry. So it's easier to have a stop loss set up somewhat below that level. You're kind of far away from it, so could have a lot of downside before it pivots and rallies again. All right, so there's no edge either on the daily. It's like bearish convergence. You made a low, then you made a lower low, and then higher levels negative momentum, lower levels relative strength, but oversold. But you know, the way the histogram island looks, it leads you to believe it's possible we could be catching some positive momentum soon, and you could keep on rallying some. But until you make a higher high than even freaking 435, the trend is bearish. It is downtrending until then. You must recapture previous highs and then make higher lows and then eventually run again and break other highs. And then your trend's reversing. There's no trend reversal in sight yet. Things have to happen. Things must come to be. I'm sure there's a supply line here too, right? Look at that. You know, a supply line, that's another thing, right? It's like you're going to test the horizontal line resistance and the downsloping resistance at some point, I'm sure. Dude, is that a wedge, man? I don't know, man. Like, dang, man, that kind of trying to wedge, huh? Wow, that's pretty crazy. Look how you fell below this demand line and you sprung, and you're just today trying to back test that demand line as a demand line again. Interesting. You are nearing an apex. Like the price action between September and November, it is contracting and down sloping. Interesting. All I can tell you is interesting, man. You're very close to that apex. The closer to the apex, the closer we are to some more major resolution, right? Next one was Hex. That again, like, just, you can't do this, man. You cannot just sit here. You're still okay. I mean, like, you're still showing divergence. It's about to go positive probably tomorrow or the next day if you just don't dump. You're gonna show positive momentum again for the first freaking time since December 31st. So think about that. You hadn't shown one histogram of positivity on Hex for the year of 2022. Can we break that drought on the new month tomorrow? And the new month, by the way, has just been, right, the old month has been cemented in time. And now we have a new month. New monthly candle across the crypto market chat. So maybe that was a lot of selling, man. The good news is, kind of, it's not really good news. It could be terrible too, but it's always good to note that when new months begin, the price action and asset allocation can shift completely. That we've seen it countless times where you've just had nothing but down. Oh my God. All month of September, and then October comes around and everything reverses on the freaking first day of the month. Bitcoin went up 10%, right? After September, it lost value. It never did anything good, right? So I'm just saying, like and it's 3 months now, and you just spent an entire quarter, you know, not like the quarter, but a quarter of time just dumping from 69K on Bitcoin. Let's go to, you know, that's it. I was going to tell you, Land of Cotton Dude, that you're still above the support resistance. You're not dead. You're still showing divergence. Give me the bids. Call up Schuler, man, or Richard Hart. Call them up. Tell them it's time. It is time for the harmonic to be respected, the support to hold, and then the accumulation to actually become confirmed, right? You made this very significant event where you pivoted on December 8th. But one thing you haven't done since then, all hexagons in chat, you have not confirmed a higher low. That, you can't call that a confirmed higher low yet from January 6th because you rallied, made a lower high, and then you dumped to a lower low than that low. So that sell-off could continue, and eventually, if you don't confirm a higher low, you will eventually make a lower low than that low. You got to establish a higher low so we can gain confirmation that there is accumulation. Need it, man. Give me some confirmation, dude. And no better place in the world for Hex to be doing it than right here. So just light the torches, light the beacons of Gondor, and tell them, all right? That's it. Let's go Bitcoin because the new month and you're local on the 8th or whatever. Oh, it's already down on the new month. $100, dude. It's over, man. All right, monthly candle, just so we can see it for the first time in history, painted, cemented. It will never change ever again. It will always look like this. Your lowest monthly candle close since the month of June 2021. Just think about, in a 3-month period, Bitcoin from its highest high to its lowest low lost 52% of its value. It says in 61 days. I don't know why it says 61 days. That's should be like 90 days, right? Because 3 months. Am I crazy here? Why is it? Something's going on. I think it'd be like this, maybe. That would be accurate. I don't know why it's like that. Okay, I guess it's the arrow. Anything confined within the arrow. Okay, whatever. All right, 90 days of just a 50% haircut on Bitcoin. We've seen it in the past. It's happened in the past. But there's your new negative momentum building. I would put weight on it yet, okay. Which, you know, what was happening all last month could change. Because the new month, right? Just like, oh my God, 3 months, April, May, June. We are effed, chat. We are effed. And even in July, wow, look at that, how you went to go test the bottom again. But then, the end of the month, everything changed, engulfed, and rallied to all-time highs. Ethereum monthly candle, here it is. Bearish engulfing, extreme follow-through. And again, you haven't seen negative momentum on Ethereum since June of 2020. Yikes, man. But remember that double bottom? Holy crap, it was gorgeous, man. Little did we know it would turn into almost $5,000 Ethereum, but hey, 48.60. But yeah, I mean, just like, that's like, you know, the good news is on this one, does it, yeah, I get that one wick there, but is it the same as Bitcoin? Maybe. Looks a little bit better than Bitcoin, maybe, but, you know, way more like visible here. Okay, but you know, remember, just but yeah, I mean, it's just like the new development locally on the less significant time scale that almost every day there can be new developments, okay, on these time scales. Daily, not much. Weekly, monthly, yeah, it takes time. But like here, where we are here, where yesterday it looked like you were topping out, then you sell off, and then the index funds begin their rally, and then you pivot here and start rallying. Then you make the highest 4-hour candle close of this little rally here. Then all of a sudden, like accumulation argument after hitting an 886, it starts becoming like a real, at least in its presentation. Maybe not so much its validity yet. Because I think you really want to break this 38.9, pretty much 39,000. Then you're going to have to break the supply line. Then here, dude, it's almost like every $500 to $1,000 now, chat, you will be facing a gauntlet There will be, you know, adversity. There will be, you know, swamp monsters. There are going to be, you know, orcs. There's going to be everything you could imagine coming up upon us. We are the 200 moving average. There's so much adversity just above you, Bitcoin. It's going to require a lot of price action, positive price action, to even think about breaking any of these levels that are just everywhere now. Yeah, it's true. The selling pressure was pathetic this weekend, and it pivoted, and that's, again, the higher low, but it looks even better, like substantially better in my opinion, on Ethereum. Whereas, you know, if you're going to take a bet, it's probably better to take it on Ethereum than Bitcoin anyway, because of the potential for the multiplied effect of gains, right? You know, that's just my opinion on it. So it's like you're going long, so it's like Bitcoin or Ethereum, maybe, you know, unless the market conditions change completely, where it's all Bitcoin again, only Bitcoin, and Ethereum probably gonna, I don't know. It just, to me, it looks like it's a prettier structure, and it wasn't inverse head and shoulders. Then, you know, I've seen these before, right? You go to Litecoin, and you go back to 23rd. I know maybe it's different. Is it though? Is it really? It's somewhat different, okay? Or I'll tell you, like, I just remember this vividly. It started as a potential inverse head and shoulders, right? The left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. But then you gave us one more higher low. That's what we're praying for on silver. But it was an 88% retrace. But the problem is, you were kind of, I guess we really didn't know. Like, is it really in a bull trend, man? You didn't quite know yet. And everyone, like, people were leaving. They're like, oh man, whatever. But yeah, it's like momentum shift turned into accumulation, and then you reversed after hitting an 886, right? Okay, well, I'm not saying it's the same argument at all, but it is a new month. And just remember, chat, Bitcoin's showing this kind of same looking thing, structure. Where is it showing it? It is showing it literally after hitting an 88% retrace, like Litecoin did one time. And again, the daily, the RSI trendline is broken. You did break it. You've done it before. It's not near as significant as it was in September, but we have a new month, and price action can shift. It can do 180s, literal 180s on price action when new months begin. Asset reallocation, bots, algorithms, all that shifts. Okay, so the argument for bulls it got just marginally higher, a little bit better today in nowhere, in middle of nowhere, 30K, 40K. Historically, all you do straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. But the difference here is like an 886 was tested. Okay, does that make sense? Now let's move on. Next requests. Well, not turtles. Totals, again, just hugging a very real level. You got to break it. If you can break it, some very good things could happen. $2 trillion market cap again if you break this level, most likely. New month, man. Next request. Nordic American tankers. No, it failed miserably. Like, miserably. Yep, it was at its all-time low. I mean, to me, Brad talked about it, I'm like, dude, it looks like trash here. Like, it's just lower highs. It's a distribution, and then rolled over with the macro. Oh my god, dude, but it's so bad it can't even show bullish average. Is it a what is it? Not 3-bar play, but my god, man. 3 drives? Is it a bullish 3 drives? What a failed harmonic, man. Like, you can't, it's harder to rely on these things in bearish conditions. 224 though, even exceeded the 224 by far. This is what happens sometimes. Not always. Sometimes these actually work and they play out. But this time it failed terribly. And you can't ever even want to think about this asset again until 166 or 184 is captured. Right? You get back above those levels. It's not good, man. It's very, very bad. Legendary underperformance. No, I'm not saying that. I mean, it's like, it's understandable to identify a potential area of inflection where maybe one could take a long. That's completely understandable. But once it showed that lower high and started rolling over again with the index funds, and once it broke that 166, Mike, what did it do when it broke 166? How much value did it lose? You know, because if anyone was even thinking about these places, they just have stop losses set up. You can't not have stop losses set up. If you're trying to strategize longing anything ever, you have to, you know, place your entries at levels that make sense for potential reversals, because historically they've happened there. But when they break, what happens? Unprecedented, loses 15% of its value.
None of them, thanks.
In my God, like 4 days. Right? So that's your nat. What's up, Knit Man? Thank you, dude. I like Dot best of those three. Dot is an official trade setup. It's still active. It's just like we know, like, hey, your long trade setups just are probably not going to be as reliable in bearish conditions. But if the market starts recovering on the new month, then, you know, Dot will be able to play out. We'll look at it. Thank you, dude. Let's go to the next request, which is Corsair. An entire chart is a harmonic. Oh my God, man. It made it, dude. It made it. It filled the gaps. All gaps are filled now. Thank you, index funds, for drawing this price down. But now there are gaps to the upside. Awesome. But look where all this is going on. None of this was it. We were like, wait on it. Just wait on Corsair to hit an 886, because there's actual support here from October 2020. You got gaps to fill. You fill the gaps. You're now confirming a bottom, at least on the 4 hour. You know, it's probably just going to go with the index funds. But dang, dude, it made it. We actually got and achieved an 886. Fantastic. So these are the levels to be paying attention to Corsair, where certain reactions could occur. Go to the daily on Corsair. Ooh. Kind of digging the way it's setting up. Let's see, when is your February 8th? All right, so a little over a week from now, you'll be reporting earnings. It could always kill it. Also, it could make it moon. So this is an area where one could easily see some sort of more major reaction, where you catch a wave up that could take you from the height of the structure to this low point. It could literally take you up to a 236. We're talking like 2586 from here. At that point, when it hits that level, that is exactly a good area where it could reverse again to give you a type 2 return. Okay, so do not be, if you get surprised about this asset violently reacting here and running to higher prices, you know, significant prices upward, you clearly aren't paying attention to the 886, where everyone in here should be getting 886 tattoos, because of how many times, how often reversals occur at 886s, was the upside or the downside, right? 886s are real as F. So pay attention. Corsair, great request, just because of what it's done in the very recent future. Nice. Okay. Corsair hype on the new month. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I burped. All right, next request for Mary. Got 5 for AVAX. AVAX? Was this created before or after COVID vaccine stuff? Crazy, dude. Yeah, this is one where it's kind of precarious. You know, you're sitting at very real critical support areas. You bounced off of it pretty well. I mean, you know, you were kind of showing bullish divergence on the MACD somewhat. You're above the 200-day moving average again. But yeah, that's a certain very real area of support resistance, right? It's between $60 and $55. Just because, look, I mean, we identified the confirmation low test here before it did that. But now you've confirmed a high, and you're making lower highs, lower lows than the previous lows. To me, it's like on something like this, it might hold for a while, but you would definitely, I think, be Fibonacci there, low to the high, and $25 to $39, that's the line in the sand for deep value. Up here, you're to 618. Yeah, 618s, you catch reactions. Yeah, little impulse waves up. You might go test $79, $80 as resistance. Probably aren't going to break that. If you do, it's awesome, because then it goes to $100, because there's no other price action between those levels, straight up, straight down. But if you go test that and you fail, and you just, again, you could be looking for a more massive M shape that could, and think about the M shape as a bat, because you see the B point is a 50% and the lower high on C, perfect 50%. So the 886, I mean, you could wait. It might take months to get there, but $24 is going to be your deep value areas, value received areas. You say it. I mean, you can give it a shot. We're talking about trend reversal stuff. I mean, normally trends like to reverse at 786s, 886s, not 618s. 618s, though, they do love reactions. Okay, so DOT, you know, it was like, which one do you think? And I'm like, this one. I mean, I like this one more than the others. It really, though, is just kind of, what are you doing? Will you please stop, like, churning and reacting here at the PCZ and the major inflection point? See, here's the thing about why I like it, because it's not just the pattern completion zone of a harmonic. It's like a bullish, like, crab. It's showing momentum shifting, right? You know, confirming the bottom, you know, confirming here that you're making higher lows in the first low. I also like the fact of where it is contextually on the chart, where it's like there is a major level of inflection here. If you break this, sometimes you back test it. Look, you back tested it as support after breaking it February 8th. You even back tested it as support August 8th. So if you break back above $19.40, $20 and you hold above it long enough, you could very well see $26.50 to $27.50. This would be the targets up here for DOT, even in a downtrend. Even in a downtrend, it runs up. What does it do? Makes a really deep retrace, you know, sees it, and then what? All right, lower high in the previous highs, and then rolls over to lower lows, and then eventually, you know, I mean, could see, you know, it's already kind of like near an 886 here anyway, so that's also another variable that's nice on it. So, I mean, but the thing is, you know, you got this other level here that could be tested if the downtrend continues around like 15 bucks. So I'm just saying, you're at pretty interesting levels where the harmonics presented. So that's why I kind of like DOT more than Mana, because Mana went up like 11%. And I think Mana's going for one of those 400 or those 88% retraces too. All the metaverse plays will do those 886s eventually. And Sol's in the massive correction anyway. So I think it could run up, but it's probably just gonna make a lower high and dump again, and eventually see like $50, $60. So anyway, that's why I like DOT more than Mana and Sol. It's not called a triangles tool, it's called a harmonic tool, the harmonic tool. And that was the last request. That was the last request. Been live for 1 hour and 20 minutes. If you're enjoying the live stream, hit the like button, the bell, sub. It is the end of the month. And also tomorrow will be the beginning of the month. So just remember, like, it, you know, the billing cycle for Patreon is on the 1st. So tomorrow will be the absolute most optimum, ideal time to join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. You know, you get access to a community of traders that are always looking to help, educational resources, and then trade setups that, you know, trade setups, it's hard for trade setups, long trade setups to play out. And this market is now being so low, it's harder for the even any kind of short trade setup to play out well, because you're just at such limited downside potential after an 886 retrace on Bitcoin. But you know, again, it's just you're not joining for the trade setup specifically. You're joining so you can become self-sufficient and you can create your own trade setups. You'll learn what to identify. But at the end of the day, most importantly, it is supporting this channel. It's supporting, you know, it's It's a way of you literally saying, hey, I like what you're doing. I want you to keep coming back literally every single day, 7 days a week, if you can, to provide this technical analysis on this live stream that I don't monetize. I don't do affiliate marketing. I have no sponsors. It's 100% crowdsourced. So it's like, join the Patreon is your way of supporting the channel. It's like a subscription to the stream, but you don't have to. But you do it because you want it to continue. You want the production quality to continue elevating, right? So just give me my spiel on it, because that's, you know, whatever. So, all right, new month chat. We did it, and thank you all. You know, 864 y'all still here. Let's see what the new month brings. At least you're showing maybe a stronger argument for accumulation now in the 4 hour after hitting deep 786s, 886s. And that could be enough to at least take you to test old resistance support as resistance again, which would be a little bit more up, you know, 29 to 3K, 2,900 to 3,000 on Ethereum, and then on Bitcoin it's going to be all over the place, dude. It's like the supply line's at 39.1 now. You keep going sideways, you'll test it in a couple days, right, on February 3rd. But then above the supply line's 40,600, then 42K. There's a lot, and then the 200 moving average in between those levels. All kinds of adversity upon you. But maybe, just maybe, another higher low got put in, and we're showing the inverse of what we were showing on the 20th of January, consecutive lower highs, the third one, and now maybe you're showing a third higher low that could catch the same type of mark up that you saw on the mark down. And there's like a square up around 43K. But yeah, it's freaking Asia's awake, chat. So you know what they normally always do. Maybe it'll change this time. Maybe on the new month, things have changed. Probably not. 2.1 billion people cannot access crypto ever again, and never will, until they have their own revolution, which they won't. So thanks for the likes, love, support, contributions, everything in between. I'll be back. Until next time, respect the T.